Hey, what's going on, everybody, man? My name's Riley. If this is your first time seeing my face here on YouTube, go check out my channel and leave a like on this video. Before we go on today's clip, I do have a few announcements. We do have a giveaway up here on the channel if you're interested in making some free money. The details will be listed later inside the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We've also been live streaming here on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. I'm going to add those other links to those channels down below. It means a lot. You guys can just go check those out, drop a follow there as well. And go ahead and turn those post notifications here on YouTube, so when I do go live, y'all come tap in and say what's up. I'm happy to meet some of you guys in there. Other than that, on today's clip, we're jumping over to my home state of Florida, where I just read a brief description of this video. It looks like this happened a long time ago, it looks like, where a mom is now accusing her daughter of killing her father when she was 7 years old. I guess the father was shot and killed, and now, I guess over the years, her daughter or something maybe came out and told her. Now she's trying to accuse her of doing this crime, and I guess they're firing up the trial on it. So we're going to go ahead and bring this to y'all firsthand on this channel, and yeah, just go ahead and hop right in. Let's go. O'Reilly. Alright, y'all, if you're gonna hold this clip, make sure you're comfortable, grab something to snack on and something to sip, and let's enjoy this video together.
Confided in Mr. Narvaez about certain facts and events. She confided in Mr. Narvaez about her desire to testify and come forward because of her emotional feelings in this case.
There are some big changes when it comes to what a jury will and won't be able to see during a Florida mom's murder trial. Lori Shaver is accused of killing her husband, then pretending to be him on social media to trick people into thinking he just run off. At her final pretrial hearing, the judge in her case made some decisions that could have a major impact on defense strategy. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner, in for Jesse Weber.
I read this shit wrong, bro. Are they saying they have a daughter?
A judge in Lake County, Florida has ruled that a witness who might have
Bro, I literally grew up in Lake County, Florida. That's fucking crazy.
Lori Shaver, the woman charged with killing her husband Michael several years ago, can't testify that someone else did the killing. 41-year-old Shaver, now Lori Filmer, after getting remarried, allegedly murdered her husband and buried him under a slab of concrete on her property. A probable cause affidavit from 2020 says police went out to the Shaver home in February of 2019. They were doing a welfare check on Michael, who had worked as a mechanic on the monorail at Disney World. His friend Scott said no one had seen or heard from the father of two in person in 3 years. The affidavit reads, quote, Lori vaguely claimed Michael left in a black.
So in 2019, they finally come up and say they haven't seen this man in 3 years. So that's how much this guy means to people, I guess. It's crazy, bro.
Yet Scott knew his possessions to still be at the home afterwards.
3 whole years.
Scott found the text messages to Michael's boss quitting his job and giving away his tools to be unlike him. Scott believed Lori was pretending to be Michael on his Facebook. Scott also thought the concrete slab/fire pit that appeared on the property after Michael's disappearance, along with Lori quickly remarrying, was suspicious. Scott consulted with Michael's family, who also agreed he would never leave his kids to start a new family as Lori claimed he had. It goes on to say, quote, while investigating the well-being check, defendant Lori Shaver told deputies Michael left the family and was in Georgia. She said the last time Michael was at their house was when he had picked up his belongings after his arrest for domestic violence in September 2014. Wow. And the last time she saw him was during a DCF custody trial in 2015. Law enforcement confirmed that he hadn't had cell phone activity in years. His license and passport had expired, his car was repossessed, and no one had seen him. Deputies wanted to have a cadaver dog check out the fire pit area where the concrete slab was, but they say Shaver resisted. They got a search warrant and found skeletal remains underneath the slab in 2018. Quote, also removed from around his body was a tarp, a set of ratchet straps, and the remains of a fitted sheet. The tags indicate the sheet was queen size and purchased at Kohl's, a department store frequented by Lori Shaver, as proven by her bank records. The remains were confirmed to be those of Michael Shaver by DNA. Michael Shaver's cause and manner of death is homicide by gunshot wound to the back of the head, with a posterior to interior trajectory front to back. A single .38 caliber class projectile was recovered from Mr. Shaver's skull. Investigators recovered a .38 caliber handgun belonging to Lori Shaver in her home on a nightstand. Shaver was charged with second-degree murder, domestic violence, and accessory after the fact. Her defense team has claimed that it was actually Shaver's then 7-year-old daughter who shot her father in the head after a domestic violence incident. In fact, the girl testified during a deposition that she had been the shooter and was protecting her mother from being battered. Previous court records do show evidence of violence within the Shaver house.
So it looks like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to come up with a plan here. I'm not too sure. But a 7-year-old killed her dad because he was beating on his mom. That's crazy.
Household. In September 2014, Michael was charged with battery. He agreed to a plea deal where he completed a pretrial intervention program. Both Lori and Michael claimed the other had brandished a gun and they had to wrestle the gun away. After that incident, the affidavit says Michael moved out and lived in an airport hangar at work and even started dating a co-worker. Lori allegedly reported the relationship to HR and the two broke it off. In May 2015, he returned home to Lori and the kids, but just months later, prosecutors say he was shot dead. Shaver's daughter is mentioned by name in court documents, but we won't be identifying her since she was a minor. During that deposition, the girl mentioned someone named Jay, presumed to be Jeremy Townsend. He started dating Lori Shaver in 2015 after she told him her husband had left. He reportedly arrived at the scene soon after the shooting and also shot Michael, according to the daughter. She testified that he told her and her mom to leave the home and implied that he disposed of Michael Shaver's body. But now we've learned from a newly filed transcript that another person on the defense's witness list planned to name the 7-year-old as the shooter too. Adam Narvaez is a former member of law enforcement who now owns some building companies. Shaver worked at one of those companies along with her new husband, Travis Filmer. They were hired after Michael Shaver disappeared. In a sworn deposition with the prosecutor back in July of this year, Narvaez testified that Shaver and her family were close with his family. Part of the deposition reads, quote, question, specifically what, if anything, has Ms. Shaver told you about the fact of the night that Michael Shaver was killed? Answer, she shared with me, obviously, that there was a specific history of abuse. I don't know specifically if it was, well, I know her daughter told me. I'm trying to remember if Lori ever told me about kind of the story and how it happened and how it developed. Narvaez went on to say that he and the Filmer family were involved with the same church and that the girl saw him as kind of a mentor and someone she could confide in. So he believes she was comfortable sharing details with him about what allegedly happened to her dad. Narvaez said the girl told him during a get-together at his home that she had been the one to shoot her father. He testified that while other people were in the home at the time, no one else heard the conversation. And just last month, the prosecution filed a motion asking the court to prevent Narvaez from testifying about what the girl told him, as well as what Lori Shaver herself may have said to her boss about her relationship with Michael. The state recently argued its motion in court.
The state focuses on two separate sets of statements made to Mr. Narvaez. The first set of statements are made to him by the defendant, Lori Shaver. Mr. Narvaez indicated that Ms. Shaver, the defendant, told him that she and the victim had a rocky relationship and that there had been a history of abuse. Those statements the state is seeking to exclude because they're clear self-serving hearsay. As we all know in this room, the statements or admissions against a party opponent are admissible, which is why the state is able to introduce the defendant's statement against her. These are self-serving statements. They are inadmissible and can't be presented through the defense by asking the witness, did the defendant tell you X, Y, and Z, or asking the witness, what did the defendant tell you? I've cited the 3 cases of many that apply to self-serving hearsay in my motion. This concept would also apply to any witness that the defendant made similar statements to, not just Mr. Narvaez, but because my motion is focused on Mr. Narvaez, I'll limit my discussion to just that. The second portion of the state's motion focuses on statements made by the defendant's daughter, Isabel Shaver, to Mr. Narvaez. As we know, the defense is going to potentially be that Ms. Shaver, Isabel Shaver, was the one that actually shot the victim. Ms. Shaver made statements to Mr. Narvaez years later indicating such.
Weird, like this judge, like I see a couple of judges like this, like they don't even seem like they're fucking listening to the guy.
Those are clear.
Like how can you be listening and filling out paperwork at the same time, bro? And picking up all the information.
To Mr. Narvaez.
You can't.
Used to prove the truth of the matter asserted, so they are clearly hearsay. By no means is by the state's motion are we trying to prevent Ms. Isabel Shaver from testifying. That's not the focus of the motion. The focus of the motion is to prevent witnesses from being questioned about hearsay statements made by Ms. Isabel Shaver. So because statements made by Isabel Shaver to Mr. Narvaez are clear hearsay, the question is there a hearsay exception to those statements? And the only exception potentially that could be raised is that it's a statement made by the declarant against the declarant's penal interest pursuant to 90.804(2)(c). In order for that hearsay exception to be established, the defense, because they're the proponent of the evidence, would have to prove three things. Number one, the declarant, Isabel Shaver, is unavailable. Well, we know that's not the case because Isabel Shaver has given a deposition, and by everything I know, she is ready, able, willing, and is going to testify in this case. So that prong cannot be met. Therefore, the exception for a statement against penal interest cannot be established. You don't even have to get to the second and third prongs because, again, Ms. Shaver is available.
Shaver's attorney, Jeffrey Wiggs, who we've spoken with before here on Sidebar, had a chance to respond.
We're not offering testimony of Mr. Narvaez to speak about the truth of the statements of Isabel Shaver, but the circumstances under which Isabel Shaver has come forward. There's inferences and allegations that, so to speak, she was called late in this game. The record shows she was not, that Kelly Johnson was appointed as a consequence of her moving forward. Mr. Narvaez, his involvement was he spoke to Isabel and then had to talk to Lori Shaver, and thus there was a consensus at a certain stage to allow Isabel to move forward with her testimony. Thus, that's how Kelly Johnson got appointed as her guardian and went through the steps that she did. It's just to show a sequence of steps as opposed to putting a witness on the stand as if we've just pulled her out of off the street. It just shows a sequence of events with the timing. It's not to prove the truth of the statements of Adam Narvaez, but to show the timeline and why the minor child stepped forward. That's why. And that's a non-hearsay purpose. You know, it's not to just show that she told me this, okay? It's, you know, what happened beyond that point. So that's the reason it would be offered.
Yes, sir.
Which is not
So I guess this is what they're trying to say is they're trying to get the, what was her statement, her saying that she killed her father, to the pastor, whoever that was, to her. One, I guess the state is trying to say it's hearsay. He's saying that it's not hearsay based off those facts you just said. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. Is this state V, like, or the state suing or trying to charge him? I'm not too sure, because like, who came up with this charge? I'm guessing it had to have been the state, right? Because no way the mom's gonna throw her daughter on the bus if she technically saved her life, on papers at least. So I guess the state's just kind of, you know, trying every which way of correlating their response here.
Made by Isabel Shaver out of court that I shot my father. That is being used to prove the truth of the matter asserted. That's the whole point of it. To explain the circumstances surrounding it is not a valid purpose. That's like me asking a detective to talk about hearsay because it establishes, you know, that's like me asking a detective, who did you talk to and what did they say, just to establish the context of the investigation. That's clearly hearsay, and this is no different.
The testimony has not been proffered. Now, the state is saying this is what the child's going to say, and this is how she's going to say it. Judge, I think the state is getting ahead of themselves, assuming everything is hearsay that child could say. The context in which the child makes those representations defines whether it falls outside of the hearsay rules. But the state's saying that child told Mr. Narvaez, I did X, Y, and Z, and then, you know, she's offered as a witness. Okay? No, that's not the context in which those statements will come forward. She confided in Mr. Narvaez about certain facts and events. She confided in Mr. Narvaez about her desire to testify and come forward because of her emotional feelings in this case. That's not hearsay. It explains a timeline and why this child is going to be here testifying. That she's not being thrown under the bus, as the state may suggest, but that there's a rational basis and a timeline why she stepped forward.
All right, is there anything further?
No, sir.
All right, I'll
Just
grant
think
the
about it.
state's motion. The court finds that any testimony regarding the timeline is hearsay, and the court will make the appropriate hearsay rulings on trial.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So while the judge ruled that Narvaez can testify during Shaver's trial, he can't talk about what Shaver might have told him about any abuse and what her daughter may have said about who fired the gun. Shaver's jury trial is expected to get underway on Monday. Of course, we'll be following it right here on Sidebar and Law and Crime. Well, that does it for this episode of Sidebar.
Looks like that's a wrap. Yeah, this is definitely going to be this case already sounds so crazy off the rip that I honestly can see this either turning into a little documentary or a little movie. I'm not even lying. This is definitely going to turn crazy because they were hiding this murder for what, almost 10 years now? Or what, they said 2018, 3 years. Yeah, about 10 years. The next year would be about 10 years they were hiding this murder for. Underneath their backyard. What? And their daughter, or the mother's getting accused of killing her, but then the daughter comes out saying that she shot her, or she shot him over a domestic violence scene. This is getting unreal, man. There's so many different shits coming in and out, and this is just the start. So there's going to be more and more information flooding in, and we're definitely going to be covering this whole trial on this channel, so definitely make sure you stay tuned for that. And what's your thoughts and comments on this video? I'm answering every single comment left on this video, so I'm happy to see what you guys are thinking. And other than that, let's go ahead and roll this outro. Let's go. Alright, y'all, we're going to wrap this one up. If you enjoy this type of content, I'm going to link a playlist right in the video. It's going to have all the reactions on there for y'all to check out. We got that little giveaway up I was talking about in the start of the video. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away a couple $50 gift cards. So if you try and make some free money, all you got to do is go to that mama's video, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you share it to a friend, you get bonus points entered as well. Super easy to enter. Winner will be announced once you're, or the winners, we got 4 different winners. It's gonna be announced once we reach 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, y'all just keep supporting this channel. I very much appreciate it. We've also been live streaming here on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, like I said in the start of the video. I got those other channels linked down below. Go ahead and turn those post notifications on so you know we do go live here on YouTube. And yeah, come tap in, say what's up. I'm happy to meet some of you guys in there. And other than that, we'll go ahead and catch y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. Peace.